nations race to uncover breakthroughs in time travel and parallel universes. A notable private laboratory in the United States has emerged as a pioneer, conducting experiments where individuals are sent to parallel worlds and through time. Regrettably, the mental well-being of almost all the test subjects has suffered, leading to confusion and disorder. Among these subjects, a test subject named Joy insists to his seniors that he must undergo time travel at any cost. Despite the failure of their own time travel experiment, Joy's seniors inform him about a company called Nexus that might have succeeded in time travel. They propose a deal: if he successfully steals the data from Nexus, they will allow him to travel back in time. We are then introduced to Nexus, a company that has achieved success in sending a monkey back in time by 1 hour and 50 minutes. The scientists at Nexus share their findings with the company's board members, celebrating their breakthrough in time travel. The lead scientist, Sia, and her team explain that altering past events within the same universe is impossible, as it would create numerous paradoxes. Therefore, when they send someone back in time, that person transitions to a different parallel universe rather than staying within the same one. However, a recent revelation indicates that events can indeed be altered in these alternate universes without giving rise to paradoxes. Additionally, Sia points out that their time machine requires significant enhancements. Currently, their capability is limited to traveling back only 1 hour and 50 minutes in parallel universes, with testing restricted to monkeys. Human trials are pending, and the potential side effects of time travel remain unknown. They are tasked with conducting further research and extending the time limit beyond 1 hour and 50 minutes. The board instructs them to complete the machine within 1 month. Following this directive, Sia takes a 2-minute break. Upon returning home, she finds her only son, Dodo, asleep and eagerly anticipating her presence. Sia, torn between her responsibilities in the time travel project and her maternal duties, struggles to allocate more time to the project. Meanwhile, an individual observed earlier at the American lab has arrived to steal Nexus time travel data. The next day at the office, Sia discovers that the monkey used in the time travel experiment has undergone significant behavioral changes, displaying sudden violence. Worried, the team decides to conduct additional tests. Amidst this, Sia's manager from Nexus confronts her, pointing out that she is neglecting her son due to her deep involvement in the project. As a gesture to compensate, he presents her with a watch for her son. Shortly after, Sia receives a video call from her son, but midway through the call, he is abruptly kidnapped. Concerned, Sia hurriedly heads home, but on her way, she is also abducted while driving her car. To her astonishment, she discovers that her son is now in the custody of Joy. He proceeds to inject her son with a drug and issues an ultimatum: provide the time travel data within 1 hour, or her son will face dire consequences. Sia attempts to negotiate, clarifying that she cannot access the data alone and requires the eye scans of others. Despite her pleas, he remains adamant, claiming ignorance and expressing his sole interest in obtaining the data. With reluctance, Sia returns to the office, determined to obtain the data to save her son. However, acquiring the information necessitates the assistance of 2 more individuals. Approaching a colleague, she learns that he has also been attacked, losing an eye in the process. Disturbed by the unfolding events, Sia receives a call from Joy, who discloses that he has assisted her by procuring an eye from one of her team members. He advises her not to resist. Now filled with anxiety, Sia realizes that obtaining the manager's ID print is crucial to accessing the data without harm. She quickly makes her way to the manager's office, fabricating a story about a machine malfunction that requires his immediate attention. Falling for the ruse, the manager complies, providing her with his eye scans. Seizing this opportunity, Sia enters the room using her eye scans and her dead colleague eye scan and begins copying the data. Outside, an employee discovers a concealed dead body, sparking panic. The CCTV footage reveals Sia's presence, leading everyone to believe that she is responsible for the unfolding chaos. Sia, escaping from security and narrowly avoiding a life-and-death situation with a garbage crusher, finally reaches Joy. Confronting him, she hands over the data and insists that they must release her son. Once the data is verified, Joy detonates a bomb planted earlier in Nexus' office, annihilating the entire location. Sia taunts Joy, accusing him of being a devil who sacrificed numerous lives for a single piece of data. In retaliation, Joy kills her son. Devastated by the loss of her son, Sia completely breaks down. Exploiting her vulnerability, Joy coerces her into accepting a task. He explains that this project can enable time travel, but only up to 1 hour and 50 minutes into the past. Joy wants Sia to complete the device so that he can go 6 months back and prevent a significant event. If successful, Sia would be able to save her son by traveling back in time. Left with no choice and driven by the desperation to rescue her son, Sia quickly engineers a car crash. She then returns to the building that was bombed, encountering her colleague Lee, who questions her about the murder of their colleague and the theft of data. Xia explains that she didn't have time to clarify and emphasizes that she has to save Dodo and now needs to go back in time. Xia transports herself back in time by 1 hour and 50 minutes. Upon opening her eyes, she finds herself in another parallel universe synchronized with the time frame of 1 hour and 50 minutes ago. Fully cognizant of the impending events, Xia is greeted by Lee as she emerges from the time travel device. Perplexed and confrontational, Lee questions her about why she conducted an experiment on herself. Xia proceeds to explain everything to him, revealing that there are now 2 versions of her in this universe, Xia Second, who came to steal data to save her son, and Xia First, from another universe arriving through time travel. Xia contacts her colleague by phone, warning him of an impending murder plot. However, an associate of Joy arrives once again and kills him. Xia First realizes that Xia Second from this universe is replicating her actions to save her son. This time, to alter events, Xia First tranquilizes Xia Second in the lab and assumes her place. She instructs Lee to hide Xia Second. Armed with the knowledge of future events, Xia proceeds smoothly and swiftly steals the data. However, aware that Joy will kill her son as soon as the data is acquired, Xia, with Lee's assistance, acquires a gun from Joy's associate. She demands that Joy extract the liquid bomb from her son's neck first, threatening to destroy the data otherwise. They reluctantly release her son, but in a clever maneuver, Xia escapes with him in exchange for the data. Simultaneously, Joy discovers that the data provided by Xia is blank, realizing she deceived him. While Joy pursues Xia in a car, he shoots her, and although the bullet misses her, Dodo is tragically killed once again. Despite her persistent efforts, Xia remains unable to rescue her son in this alternate universe. Disheartened, she decides to make another attempt and travels back in time to 1 hour and 50 minutes earlier, this time landing in a third universe. Frustrated by the repeated need to traverse different universes, Xia's anger intensifies, and her personality undergoes a noticeable change as she witnesses her son being killed successively in the last 2 universes. In this third universe, Xia discovers 2 versions of herself already present. Xia Third, currently in the lab attempting to steal data to save her son, who then knocked by Xia Second, and now Xia Second is in a car with Dodo being pursued by Joy. Xia First, having experienced these events before, advises Xia Second that she will once again fail to save her child unless she follows her orders. Taking matters into her own hands, Xia First crashes a car into Joy's vehicle, allowing Xia Second to escape with Dodo. Joy, who has survived the crash, resumes chasing Xia Second. Realizing they are constantly being pursued, Xia Second deduces that they are being tracked and discovers a tracker in the watch given to her by the manager. Swiftly breaking the watch, they expose the one chasing them. Xia Second, along with her son, sets a trap, captures Joy, and manages to escape. However, Joy escapes from the traps and resumes chasing them. Xia First intervenes, urging Xia Second to escape with her son, and Xia Second reveals that the manager is the traitor. As an intense crossfire ensues between Xia First and Joy's goons, Joy now goes after Xia Third from this universe. Xia Second takes her son to the hospital. Awakening in the lab, Xia Third regains consciousness only to be coerced by the manager into providing data for the time machine. Questioning his motives, Xia inquires why he orchestrated these events. The manager discloses that the concept of time travel was originally his, but he didn't receive due credit from the company as Xia garnered more attention. Consequently, he devised the plan to steal data by orchestrating their arrival here and proposed the idea of blowing up the lab. As the moment of obtaining the data approaches, the manager is on the verge of killing Xia Third when Joy abruptly appears. Joy swiftly eliminates the manager, instantly killing him, and injures Lee, asserting that he requires no accomplices and that Xia is sufficient for him as the data has already been acquired. However, Xia First intervenes, inflicting injuries on Joy, her demeanor having spiraled into madness. Xia Third, witnessing this version of Xia, becomes extremely frightened. Inquiring about Joy's motivations, Xia Third learns that 6 months ago there was a plane crash resulting in the death of Joy's wife and son. Desiring to prevent this tragedy, Joy participated in experiments in the USA, but the participants turned violent, leading to mutual destruction. Before taking the plunge, Joy activates the remote button for the bombs in the building. In the hospital, Xia First discovers a device implanted in Joy during their confrontation. Watching the recording, she realizes that their survival is unlikely, akin to the failed experiments in the USA and the Nexus project. Xia First, now significantly more aggressive due to repeated time travel, declares her intent to eliminate the other 2 Xias and live with her son. As she is about to kill the Xia first of this universe, Xia second intervenes, preventing the violent act. Xia second explains to Xia first that this universe rejects them and won't permit their existence, spelling imminent demise. Unwilling to comprehend, Xia first and Xia second exchange gunfire, resulting in Xia first's demise. Meanwhile, Xia second urges Xia third to hurry to the hospital, emphasizing the need to be with her son. Xia second rescues Li and proceeds to her son. In an emotional conclusion, Xia second converses with her son. Contemplating the destructive consequences of time travel and parallel universes, Xia second decides to end her own life. Xia third reunites with her son in the hospital, 6 months having passed since the incident. Content in her happiness with her son, Xia refrains from attempting to construct a time travel machine as the data was obliterated in the explosion. With this uplifting resolution, the story comes to an end. Thank you.